everybody. This is part 2 of Double or Nothing Mission 1. So this is mainly more for Cindy. Shout out for Cindy, because this is more of a high level conversation because she's an experienced trader. She's really, really good. And so this is about that. Before I get into that, though, I wanted to show you something, and that's not what I want to show you. I want to show you content that is already here. You see the dates on here, it's 2001. I completed complete training modules tied to a Facebook private forum that you cannot find. It's invisible. And, it's all about setting up infrastructure, which is now impossible to do. Is I have to rewrite them because you have to become an e-resident. So, and that information is constantly changing. And then here are just modules on psychology and time zone charts and indicators and all sorts of cool stuff. Let's see, module true is trade. Oh, that was the one we just showed, got trading indicators. You know, trading budgets and tips and tricks and market psychology, DeFi strategies, Roth IRA strategies. Okay, so this one right here is probably worth a ton of money. This is 8 months of research. No, this is not available to Patreon members. So what I'm trying to look for is a beast mode chart. There it is. You know what I'm going to do is, it was a special session. I did this for one of my kids. Look familiar from the last episode, right? So yeah, I need to figure out what tool to make available on Patreon, but Cindy, you should have access to all this stuff. If not, just let me know and we'll consolidate. I mean, I've been doing this, 3 years, 4 years? I think I started this in 2020. So anyway, something just binged at me. I'm on a new system here. I don't know if I like it or not. So I wanted to talk about position sizing, not actually leverage. So let's say you're in a trade and it's at 100x and it goes against you. Okay. Now, if you if you do a martingale strategy, which I don't necessarily recommend unless you really have an understanding of leverage. Here's my approach. So if the market's suddenly doing something that's unexpected, you're not trying to take advantage of the market anymore. You decide to either get out and take a loss, which is totally fine, or you have to survive it. Usually if you survive it, you end up maybe going all in and then backing it up with some extra money is what it looks like. But in surviving it, some cool things happen. You're putting more money in it, usually at the bottom, which means you're bringing your entry price down. So here's some things that you need to be aware of. So like interest charges, funding charges happen, I think, 3 times a day. And it's like 130. Anyway, I got a chart. I'm not going to read the chart to you. At least where we trade. It depends on your exchange, right? And what that means is, so the higher the leverage, the higher the fees. So if you're in a high leverage trade and you're holding it overnight, you're going to get hit with 3 separate fees based on your leverage, which could really add up. So, and it's good to learn that when you're not playing with a lot of money, hence start with $5. So you rack up some fees, big deal. It's not going to hurt you. If you're in a $10,000 trade or a $100,000 trade, it'll hurt you. And it gets in your head and messes you up. So, you don't want to be doing that. But learning how to do it with small dollar amounts, that's the big secret. There's a gentleman who's supposed to reach out to me. He was my Uber driver when I went down to the Estonia embassy, a month or so ago. and he was into crypto, and he was kind of cool because he's got dual citizenship. He's got a green card for the United States, and he has his original citizenship. He's not restricted like a U.S. national is. Now, that's something to be PO'd about, but most of my U.S. citizens are, oh, he's taking somebody's job. No, he's an Uber driver. He's not taking your job. I know that's a political platform. Don't get me. I don't want to get into it. But the point is we laughed. I says, well, the mistake you're making is you're trying to trade with too high of dollar amounts until you develop the skill set. He says, what do you mean? I says, trade with 0.01 ETH. It's just like a light bulb went off. Boom. He says, dude, that's brilliant. I said, like, yeah, I know. I get that a lot. Even from AI. So that's just, if you're going to train, but you can't do it without leverage. In the United States, your minimum trade size is going to be, I don't know what it is. I haven't tried because you don't have access to leverage. So it's probably a few dollars, which a few dollars as a learning thing versus 25 cents, the cost of a pinball or a video game machine. Miss Pac-Man is my reference point when I was like 16 years old, right? Tells you how old I am. Was a quarter. A quarter was worth a lot more back then, but you put a quarter in, you played the machine, you always lost, right? And then you put another quarter. Wow, you were learning Miss Pac-Man. Well, why not take that same methodology to cryptocurrency? But in order to do that, you have to have access to high leverage trading. But you don't have access to it because you're U.S. national, and for some reason, a bunch of dumb, think they know better, control freaks out of Washington thinks it's too dangerous for you to gamble 24 cents. But you could mortgage your house and walk into an indie casino and put it all on 13 on a roulette board. Don't do that, and that's okay. Oh, you don't get tax write-offs, though. You only get $3,000 a year tax write-offs now over major losses. So you could have a real business loss or whatever. Oh, well, you don't have the benefits that you could have your lifetime gain pay. We are so anti-business right now in America as of 2016 forward. It is embarrassing for small businesses. I didn't want to get political. It frosts me because we don't know how to think. Hence the channel name, How to Think POTU. Okay, so if the market goes against you, the first thing you should do is reduce your leverage, right? So let's say you're in a $1 trade at 100x. What is that? It's a $100 trade. But you only have $1 into it, right? Well, if you want to reduce your leverage, you could put in a dollar trade, right? At 1x. And what will that do? It'll cut your leverage in half, roughly. Ooh. Put in $2, cut it in third, put in $3. I'm saying, so your goal when the market goes against you is probably get your leverage down to under 30, under 20, under 10 is ideal, right? Because until you found the bottom, who knows what's going to happen next? So buffer. Now, if you don't want to put a trade, so here's the thing. If you just add margin, it doesn't pull the price down. Okay. If you put it in as a trade, it pulls the price down. Not necessarily a lot, right? That's why I usually start out my trades. My first trap trades are usually lower leverage, 10x. My next leverage might be 20x. My next might be 30x. But that's not high leverage trading. Well, yeah, because I'm looking at it, going to bed at night. I set the traps. I wake up in the morning. If the market's gone against me, I don't have to worry about auto margining, which oftentimes it's a formula, and they grab a lot of money out of your account. And it's okay, you're still in, but I look at things like I look at the psychological things. So 5 is a big number, right? And 0. So, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, $100, right? Those are all psychological points. $5, $5, $10, $15. Every 5 is a psychological point. The bigger the dollar level, like $100, is one barrier. $1,000, like in Ethereum, right? You're seeing $100 movements, right? So but you've seen the movements. You're seeing, if you look at it, you'll see that psychological points, support and resistance point. It's all psychology. There's no logic to it other than human emotion. So you need to understand it to set traps properly. And then when shit goes crazy, it just goes crazy. And usually those down spikes you see are a result of bots getting activated, both buying and selling until it bottoms out. And they happen. They're programmed to happen in milliseconds. So yeah, if you don't, that's why you have to have a strategy that takes into account. Now, if I look here at the daily, we came to this little, I don't know, thing here topped out, right? Is it really a surprise that we came down with profit taking and stuff? I mean, what we wanted to have happen is we wanted to have this sort of thing happen where it just goes up, goes sideways, goes up. We were hoping this was going to go sideways, right? New bull market, everyone's all the news media, but it's not what happened. And people start taking profits. Oh, you couldn't see it. I have to repeat it. I'm so sorry, everybody. The daily here. We all wanted this. We wanted to go a little red and then boom, go up again. But it did. There's no surprise. It came down. Why? Profit taking. Is it going to come down to here? Who knows? According to the MACD, yeah, very well might. I don't think it's going to. Why? Because the longer time frames, the are reversing that. Is this one? Who are you? You're the 1 hour. Well, you're supposed to be the daily. No, you're the weekly. So in the weekly, we have a lot of upward movement, right? That's why I look at all the time frames when I'm making my decisions. At the start of every trading sessions, I look at all of them. I actually have all the charts up on my 32-inch screen, which you're not seeing here. You can see some other videos. I've shown them. So let's talk about that. So, and this is, you're not going to, let's just get rid of this. So there's a BeastMode thing out there. Cindy has access to it. I'll probably look at it, update it, then make it available as part of Mission 1 training for, oh God, those alerts. I didn't want, stop. So Mission 1 training for Patreon members. So I've got 3 years worth of data to sort through. I don't have a team. Okay. So we start getting 3,333 people paying $5 a month. You've bought my time to do this full time and develop this full time as a strategist. And I can hire people and work with AI and do all sorts of cool stuff. But it's more about forming a community that people can afford and teaching them how to become wealthy. So I would like you to make a commitment to me that if you do that, when you complete Mission 20 or above, you tip me 6.66%. I know, 666. It's the devil's number. It's also 333 times 2. It just turned out to be, I was going to charge $333,333 for this. And then I ran the numbers on it, and it turns out to be 6.66% of Mission 20. Last time I ran the numbers, and it's been a couple of years. So you owe me a tip. If you want to tip me 10 or 20%, that's great. What am I going to do with that money? Well, I probably don't need it by the time you guys complete that. Probably going to turn DDTC or POTU or something into an international nonprofit. And I have a consensus model for an organization membership inspired by Starhawk, who does consensus stuff. But it's a hybrid model. See, there's no one economic system or ideology that's really that good, right? They all have good and bad, right? I believe in our abilities to create what's new in the present based on what we know from the past. It's a different lens. I want to create an international organization of 333,333, which will grow to 3,333,333, which will go into 33 million. Anyway, it'll just grow with this concept, and it'll be teaching leadership, right? Mission-focused leadership. It'll be teaching consensus-based organizational leadership, as well as getting things done through teams on missions. It's all in here. And I've tested different pieces of it over the last 20 years. It's cool stuff. But I'm off track. Sorry. Controlling your leverage. So I think the Purple Ninja, she just does everything 100x, which is great, provided you have reserve funds so that the market goes against you. You can the first mission is to bring that leverage down to the next major psychological point. Okay, David, that was a mouthful. What the hell are you talking about? Good question. Let's take a look at it. Let's make sure we're in Ethereum. And let's make sure we're on the hourly charts. All right, turn it on. So we are currently at $2,235. Where's the next major psychological support? Can you guess? Not minor. So, I mean, 2,200 is a support, 2,100 support, and 2,000 is a support. The next major is 2,000, which is where on this chart? Here, let's make this big so you can see it better. Where's 2,000? 2,000. Yeah. 2,000 is here. Oh, you can't see it. Can I put a line chart in here? God, it's been a while. I love TradingView, by the way. I mean, I think I got 70% off this year. I usually get 60% off. All right, I hit the wrong button. Let's shoot. I used to draw this stuff all the time. Oh, there it is. Perfect. That's that yellow line. And I'll put my pointer up here. Here, let me scrunch this in. Right up here is where it's trading at right now. When it spiked down in here. When I helped the Purple Ninja buffer her account, I got her to, I actually will choose my leverage level based on where the psychological major support is, which is a long ways away. Yeah. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin, it's actually right there. 40,000. You can't see that, can you? Here, let me, can I just, no, I've got to do it this way. It's just so, that's good enough. All right, that's not a straight line, but it's good enough. You can see how close Bitcoin came to hitting its psychological support during that dump. So Ethereum is a lot safer to learn on, right? It went down here. It tested this twice. It tested 40,000 twice. It's probably going to test it one more time, technically, if you're one of those folks doing the technical thing. This is a double bottom. Is it going to keep going up? I think it may be done, but it may test it again. But it did break through. This is a very strong thing, right? This is 30 minutes. I want the hourly. It's basically the same thing, right? It did 2 runs at 40 and didn't make it. You notice down here, it just lost momentum. It could try it another third time, right? But I who knows? Nobody knows, but you play the odds, right? So if I got in up here at 100x, what do I want to do? Well, I need to reduce my leverage. I don't know when it's going to bottom out, right? So I had to reduce my leverage. But the first thing I do when I see it happen is I'll usually put in a trade, what I call a safety trade, which is a couple dollars above my liquidation point at the reduced leverage. And for me, depending on what I think it's going to do, if the first trade was 100x, the next one might be 50x. And then the next one, based on the liquidation level, a couple dollars above liquidation level will be like maybe 25x. And then the next one at the above might be at 10x. Now, there's a lot of different ways of approaching that. So I might do equal dollar value, $100 and then another $100 at lower leverage and another 100, or I may double each in a martingale strategy. So if it was $100 above the liquidation level part one, what I might do is I might just go with a whole $200 or $300 at 1x or 3x. There's so many different ways of doing the strategy, but the point is pull the leverage down, right? And there could be a lot of different, check the news, but in this case, I was buffering it down with a target of 40,000, which is kind of what it is. I'm actually at 39 something with plenty of reserves. It was a small trade anyway, which is why to learn it when you don't have a lot of, small trade for me is probably way different than small trade for you. So it's all relative, right? Learning the stuff at $5 or $10 is way better than a couple $100 or a couple $1,000. I think the largest trade I ever did was, I don't remember what it was for Bitcoin. But I think I did 70. I was stuck in a trade with 75 Ethereum when it was more than what it's at now. And I got out at profit. It just took some patience. But that was a bull run. So in a bull run, if you get stuck, you're usually out within a couple days or a couple hours. If it's a bear market, it's a different strategy. It's a different way of looking at the market. So the Purple Ninja, she can do her strategy, whether it's a bear market, she prefers a sideways market, and she super prefers a bull market. And we're kind of like in this transition into a bull market. So now's a great time to get back into it and learn it and all that. Let me go back to, this was the 4, I think. Yeah, I'm going back to Bitcoin. Although I should be doing it. It doesn't matter. Let's just close these out. Just turn this off. All right. I think there's a lot of cool information here, and I why can't I get control of this? Whoa. All right. Key points, maybe I'll have time to edit this one of these times, is controlling your leverage, right? Purple Ninja, she's trading 100x full on Ethereum, right? And she's started with $5, working through the missions, right? What if you get liquidated? Reset your account. The way I would set up mission 1 is I put $15 in the account, and I'd probably back it up with another $15 available. But if you really want, if you start growing it, then, make that a couple $100 or, grow your reserves proportionately for active trading, right? So you're going to be playing with $5 and your goal is to change the $5 to 10, and you're backed up by 10, right? It's 3. Do you have to do it that way? No. I don't know if she did it that way or not. She may have just thrown in $5 and traded it up at her mission 1. But I like to have a buffer because shit happens, right? So she's developed the Purple Ninja. I keep pointing because she sits right over there. You can't see her. She's got 3 monitors. I only have 2. She's got 3 monitors, and she works full time, and she gets up at 4 a.m. She's a morning person, and she has her coffee, and she usually trades in the morning while she's having coffee before she goes to work for a full-time job. It's her hobby. I work a swing shift, so I wish maybe I should switch to a day shift just for that. So I'm up early and then trade, because that would be cool. Huh. I'll probably do that after we move. So I don't like getting up early. I'm a night owl person. So the point is, you've got to start. And if you get liquidated, you just reset. Mission 1, $5. And you do that until you can double it with 0 trading losses, whether it's going up or down or sideways. Now, the Purple Ninja's been doing this since 2020. So she's got going on 3 years worth of experience under her belt. And she's built up account. Usually, I think her starting accounts were usually as low as $100 or $300, but she's built them up. She's been liquidated multiple times, sometimes when it hurt, right? And then just restarted. But she's never like liquidated her entire account. Why? Because, it's management. Not all of her money is in her futures trading account. A lot of the US exchanges, all your money is available. They don't separate it out into separate accounts, right? Because you're a US citizen. They want you to have it all at risk to, I guess, protect you from being at risk as an unsophisticated investor. Oh, it's just it's discrimination, folks. It's discrimination based on financial status. Why is this? Oh, there we go. But it's the world we have to live in. So you have to have access to leverage to do. Okay, mission 1 is a concept, doubling your money. Okay. If you want to do it in your bank account, it's just going to take you, I don't know what the best is, 5%. So what is that? If you get 5%, it's going to take you 20 years. At 3%, 30 years, 33 years, roughly. 10%, 10 years. So if you want to do a mission 1 that way, that's 10 years of your life. Or learn how to trade. The secret is not do what all the other U.S. citizens and nationals are doing, because the entire U.S. financial system and what you have access to is designed to perpetuate, not build wealth. Already wealthy people scalping 1 or 2 to 3% a year through some kind of automated bot or some professionally managed hedge fund manager is big money, right? But unless you're working with big money, then those little percentages are meaningless to you, right? At 3, I know this number. If you want to make $50,000 a month, right? You need 3% APR on $20 million. If you want to know what numbers are, right? So $20 million, if you were to have it professionally managed and totally safe, tax-free municipals, which makes it worth a whole lot more, but that's just kind of the ultimate model, right? United States tax-free municipal bonds, whether I think they're going around 7% right now, but let's say the lowest they've ever been is 3%. I like 3% because it's the worst of the worst case model. So if you're ever doing model planning, you go with the worst case model that you can get data access to. 3% is really the worst, right? 50,000 a month. What that probably looks like is you're probably not withdrawing the funds just annually. Maybe I don't know. I haven't gotten the numbers that down part, but it works out to be that 3% gives you whatever $600,000 a year of interest on $20 million. Divide that by 12. That if you wonder where I get the basic ballparking numbers, does it work like that? Not quite. It's a little bit different. But that's without touching your principal, stuff like that. If you don't know what your numbers are, it's all moot because you're not going to stay focused in the trading process. You need to have a goal. Mission 1, boom. Mission 2, mission 3. It'll get exciting for you around mission 10. Yeah, it's like what, $5,000? I don't know. I got spreadsheets for that. I got a video presentation out there somewhere for that. DDTC Health and Wealth. Although I'm shutting that channel down and migrating that information over here. The point is doubling is simple. Your mind can comprehend that, right? 1% a day, 2% a day, 3% a day ROI on a portfolio can get you there. But if you're scalping 3% ROI trades and you're not scaling, then it's going to be a long haul, and it's kind of boring. But, as I'm programming bots, I'm not oh, well, the bots do grids, right? Almost everyone in bots do grid stuff. I don't know if I should be sharing this, but that's a bad way of creating a bot for a bot to function. I wouldn't trade that way. I mean, I do trade that way, but not everyone wants to be lazy. I want a 5x5 grid, or I want a 5 deep grid on these parameters. And it's just like, yeah, but the market is dynamically changing at each one of those price points. If you're not taking that into consideration, you're just being dumb. And your bot's going to be dumb. It doesn't mean it's not going to work. In bot assisted trading, actually, I've tested that. I've done a mission one with my bots and stuff, and it you can do it, but you get way better results when you have access to leverage. But bots, well, are cool, but really the way everyone's thinking, I've got some bots I want to shut down because they're AI bots, but they're AI based on traditional trading methodology, which means they end up being losing bots unless very specific things are happening. They lose you money. I was really excited about it too, but the AI that they're using is just kind of dumb. I still can't believe that Donna can't do math. It's kind of funny because she helped me create the formula for the spreadsheet on doing the doubling. It's a logarithmic formula. And anyway, she helped solve a puzzle I had for years. But anyway, AI is not perfect. I'm not perfect either, but I mean, a lot of my spreadsheets I found out had little minor errors in them, or little minor errors. They still work because the context was right, but they weren't as dialed in as they could be. I've been working with Don to fix them, but I don't have enough time in the day. I'm on a burn right now to create some different revenue streams outside of my work because we're moving to Michigan and I don't want to retire yet. And I'm not ready for semi-retirement. I got too many projects to go. I just can't stand working for the state of Oregon and the epic age discrimination that I've experienced for going on a decade. And I've reported it, and there's nothing I can do about it. Don't worry, I've had the conversation. I've talked to lawyers, law firms, and stuff. And BOLI and EEOC aren't good enough. The laws do not identify what I would call passive or by proxy of policy issues, which are beyond the scope of this conversation. But, I'm just done and I'm moving on to something else. And it's a shame because it was all unnecessary. And it's really sad because I think it costs the Oregon taxpayers millions of dollars, how their lack of leadership. And I'm not going to name names or go into that till after I retire. But, I've reported it to them. I've made them aware of it. I've made human resources aware of it. And there's nothing that can be done. No one's listening. And I literally have a directive saying, I'm not supposed to, that's just the way it is. Well, living it has reached me to the point it's not worth my mental health to care about it anymore. And so my advice to anyone who is working anywhere in the world, especially in the United States, if you encounter discrimination, especially in a government body that has policies against it, report it to BOLI and EOC immediately. Don't wait 6 months. HR is not going to get it done for you. Management's not going to get it done for you. Executive management. I actually had an executive manager working with me on a proposal where I identified it logically wasn't trying to embarrass anybody, and all they did was violate policies by not responding. So part of why I'm focusing on trading and bots is because I'm replacing that income actively doing this. I don't have time to teach you how to do it or go through 3 years worth of content that I can make available, but I could be a guide to an audience if the audience helps free up my time financially. Right now, Patreon got 1 member. That's it. And it ought to be like $1,000 upfront fee as an initiation fee, and then $5 a month or probably $33 a month to have access to what's already there. But I'm not going to do that to anybody because I see so much people struggling. I see it every day when I drive to work. I don't tune in the news, but enough hits my social media feeds that I just see how people are suffering. I think cryptocurrency has been one of the few opportunities to turn that around for an individual. And what's happening now is there's more barriers to entry that didn't exist. Before 2016, there was no barriers to entry. Yeah, there's a lot of fraud stuff going on. There still is. But there's a lot of fraud going on right now in fiat currency. US dollar is the number one currency of choice for all criminal organizations on the planet. Have they used crypto? Have they experimented? Yeah, but they're learning that doing crypto is not cool because there's an audit trail. It creates a it creates a ledger that can't be futzed with. You can't have two sets of books in crypto. So whenever if they're involved with criminal activities, they can be tracked down through crypto. And so if you're involved with illegal activities, you want to stay with fiat. You don't want digital currencies. You don't want it at all. No, use your submarines, right? In fact, there's a great book out there, Narconomics, and gets into that sort of stuff. Yeah, how to be a drug lord. It's just interesting. But yeah, do they want to use crypto? Sure. They want to put their money to work through money laundering and stuff like that? Yeah, sure. But is that really anything new? Do you guys not watch Ozarks? You want to see a great example of how money laundering actually works? Watch that fiction. That was pretty good. Yes. If I was wanting to launder money, the last thing I would want to do is turn to cryptocurrencies of any type. Maybe after my money was laundered, sure. But if I was involved with a criminal enterprise, no, you don't want to do this. And you know what's cool about crypto? When we had access as US citizens, the opportunity was so huge, there's no need to get involved with criminal stuff. One of the reasons why we have so much crime in the United States, my theory, is that we have killed opportunity for the average person, right? The average worker can't make enough money even to afford rent. I mean, I live in Kaiser, Oregon, and one-bedroom apartments, less than 700 square foot, moving forward about $1,500 a month. Oh, sure, there's amenities, but $1,500 a month. Minimum wage won't pay for that. Two people at minimum wage could barely make that work. And yet that seems to be the model. Unions aren't doing it. So who's paying good money? Who's paying big money? Who's creating opportunity? Well, criminal enterprises. And until we grow up as a nation and figure out what made us great, and it's not what's being sold to us politically. And you know what I think made America great? It was diversity. And during a time when we didn't have as many regulations as we had. But the reason why we have as many regulations as we have is because already wealthy people will exploit littler people, hence regulations. And is it crazy? Yeah, it is. We need more regulations that actually protect workers and create social safety nets while also freeing up small businesses to take greater risks or have cooperative risks and stuff. But instead, it's an all or nothing thing. One person is so dumb, we pass laws and regulations as if everybody's dumb. And that's really dumb. And I can't fix that. So I hope this has been helpful. Pay your taxes. Or learn how to do things within tax advantage legal accounts. Learn about e-residencies around the world. Estonia's got a great business program for online businesses and stuff. Does not work for your ID because you need a photo ID for exchanges right now, even though Estonia is like leading edge stuff. Incredible. Palau will get you on Hong Kong-based exchanges, but I think a lot of Hong Kong is ruled by Great Britain still. Maybe I'm wrong about that. So the problem with KYCs is most people can't pass it unless they have a residence. So that excludes almost all digital nomads that are, they don't have a physical residential address anywhere because they're traveling the world working on contract assignments. Because for some reason, if we can get you pinned down to a residential address, we can control you. And it's true. So almost all of global financial markets now require you to produce a utility bill of all stupid things. Privacy. Do you really want to disclose your actual resident to organizations that could get hacked outside your government? People could actually know where you live. This whole KYC thing is a really huge invasion of privacy that's based on the model that you are a criminal, so therefore we need to treat you like one first. And it's under the guise, oh, we want to stop human trafficking. We want to stop weapons sales. We want to stop drug sales. So is that going to stop any of that? No. No. Why? Because already wealthy people can buy passports. They can buy fake IDs. They can do all sorts of cool stuff that you and I can't afford to do. It's unlawful, right? And it's it's a felony and stuff. Have multiple passwords under fake names. It's a felony. We see it on TV, but it's a felony, right? But you have a billion or $1 trillion criminal franchise going on. Do you care? No, you don't. So all these rules designed to stop them, all they're doing is taking away the rights of law-abiding citizens. Any U.S. citizen that's a Second Amendment rights advocate, you're dealing with the same thing too, aren't you? Right? So some idiot goes and shoots up stuff. Suddenly, the law-abiding citizen, all your rights are being threatened. Now, there's room for some common sense regulations that we don't have. And, I think anyone that's reasonable can admit that and acknowledge that. I'm personally a proponent of Second Amendment rights. And, but there's no one size fits all. Someone in Alaska needs to be armed just for day-to-day living. Someone living in, I guess it could be argued, someone living in South LA needs to be armed too, right? But it's geographically sensitive to your crime rates and stuff. And the reason why you have high crime rates, right, is loss of opportunity, lack of economic development, and discriminations based on race, based on gender identity, based on religious belief systems, based on all sorts of stuff, age. We can do better, which is, what's it called? How to Think POTU. And that's what my mission is about. It's not about teaching you about cryptocurrency and making money off from that. It's about creating an organization of international folks that respect universal, sentient, human and civil rights. Why do I throw the word sentient in there? Well, the United States was founded on individual civil and human rights. But we decided other humans weren't sentient enough, so therefore we could enslave them. And not only that, we had the primary religious directives saying it was okay. In fact, it was argued about in Congress. Freedom, the language was right, the intentions were right, but the application, we have yet, as of am I recording this today, 12/11/2023 at 5:10 p.m., have yet to establish equal rights. We were unable to ratify it. So how are we ever going to get to universal, sentient, civil, and human rights? No one's even talking about it. They don't even understand it. They're not even thinking properly. We haven't been thinking properly in this nation since its founding, other than, oh, we want to rebel against that. Well, that was a good thought. But we wrote some brilliant stuff that we need to level up. And violence isn't the way to do it. It would work in a smaller country like France or England, but it's not going to work in the United States. We're too big. Strategically, not going to happen. And no, I do not want you on equal footing with my government. I don't want you to have a nuke in your garage. I don't want you to even have a minigun that fires 3,000 rounds a second. No. That era is over. The musket era is over. If it comes down to that, I don't care who you are. We have bunker buster munitions and smart munitions. You're not going to overthrow the US government. We outspend the rest of the entire world 100-1, right? AI and technology is the real threat there. But yeah, I mean, it's great. Be a prepper. That's cool. Fine. Be ready for the zombie apocalypse. Fine. I'm with you. I'm supportive of that. You know, I get it. I watched the new show with Julia Roberts. The ending was kind of hilarious to me. There's errors in that strategy, by the way. I'm not going to get into that right now, but why don't we teach a new way of thinking and a new way of looking at our planet? Like, how's this? You are indigenous to planet Earth. Until we start thinking that way, we are on the fast track to self-destruction. Prove me wrong. Have a conversation with Donna. AI, any of them. Yeah. Yeah, we've crossed. It's going to take science and a unified effort for us to survive as a species. And right now it's not happening. We've got some conversations going, but we're not thinking properly. We're not thinking properly. Carbon credits. Well, look at what they're doing to Australia. They're literally destroying Australia. Watch Juice Media. It's just like, and they learned that crap from us here in the United States. Oh my, I got a hair just coming down and it's bugging me. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up. I got into stuff I didn't want to get into in this broadcast, but it's okay. No harm, no foul. Man, we got to do better. So my plan is to teach people like you, how to become financially powerful and influential with POTU ideology, which is kind of a bolt-on. It doesn't matter what your current religious belief system is or is not. Okay. If the golden rule, right, which every belief system on our planet I'm aware of has it, right? Do unto others as you have others do unto you. That's the New Testament biblical version of it, but the Old Testament has it. All, Islam has. I mean, Donna could chime in here with it. And she has. So we all have it. So there's a foundational principle we can all stand on without arguing about it or killing each other over it. So if I'm hypothetical, if I'm a Christian, I'm going to treat a Muslim with the same respect I'm going to treat myself. If I'm a Muslim, I'm going to treat a Christian or a Satanist or a witch with the same respect as I want to treat myself. Yeah, but what abouts? We have to have that foundation of rights and equality and respect. Otherwise, nothing works. That's been the problem if you were to do a root cause analysis of our species since the last epoch, 10,000 years ago, especially in the last 5 to 8,000 years where we have archaeological evidence of how this all evolved to this point. That's one of the core foundational problems for our species. Lack of respect, lack of understanding. Oh, that person is indigenous to this planet like I am, and they should have the same rights as I do. If you cannot grasp that, you're part of the problem. We need the billionaires. We need the millionaires that have hundreds of millions of dollars. Anyone that has $10 million or above, we need them thinking differently. Right now, they're all afraid of losing what they got, even though that's just an insane thought. Doubt that? Then please explain to me why Putin invaded a country when he was already a billionaire and one of the most powerful humans in the world. What was that about? I saw one news article it was about. It was about the Russian Orthodox Christian Church leadership saying, "Oh, we want them back." So we just went to war and invaded. We lied to the world. See, it's already wealthy, powerful people not having enough because they're not respecting. They're not. The golden rule was violated, friends. Everything about Christianity, Orthodox or not, was violated. Do you get that? Russian conservative Christianity violated their core tenets. We got to start thinking that from the lowest, whatever, to the highest has got to think differently. Hence, how to think pot two. Ending statement.